So welcome to our latest Take a Seat interview. I'm really pleased to be joined by Mark from M3 Networks. Now, you'll have noticed that I did a very often used trick where I go, if I'm going to get your surname wrong, I'm just not going to say it. So I didn't say it. So Mark is and M3 Networks are one of our digital takeover sponsors, and it's brilliant. I really enjoy doing this interview and just kind of, getting a wee peek into what makes people tick. It gives you a chance to talk about you and your business, but we get to ask you some daft questions along the way. So Mark, do you want to start off by telling us a wee bit about you and what you do?
Mark, and the surname, well, I pronounce it Riddell because it's D-E-L-L at the end. I say Riddle is R-I-D-D-L-E, but I'm not offended either way. So some people say one, some people say the other. And then if you speak to Americans, they say something completely you've never heard of when they try and pronounce it. So I'm the MD at M3 Networks. We're based in Perth. Quite interesting, actually. I was talking to this about someone the other day about us being based in Perth, but actually most of our engineers actually come from Dundee. So we've actually got more staff based in Dundee than we do actually in Perth, although our office is here. So it's just a good point to kind of get across to people that people see mainly Perth-based company. So, so we've been around since 2009 now. Obviously, been a chamber member for a number of years, and I know we've done some other events with you guys. The cyber breakfast and things spring to mind. So, we've always tried to, be a local IT and cyber security company, providing advice to small, medium-sized businesses, which I think is quite missed a lot, especially on the cyber side of things. Run M3 with myself and two other directors. That's where the M3 comes from. There's another Mark and there's Mary. So we've got Mark Lamb, our tech director, Mary Brodie, our finance director. So keeping things nice and simple with the M3 there. That's us.
Brilliant. My next question is just, can you tell us what you like best about what you do? Is there a story to that?
Yeah, there kind of is. I mean, I guess I've had more of a, traditional or old school kind of route into IT. So for me, actually, I broke this kind of down into three things, actually, is that I love creating things, I love building things, and I also love fixing things. And then I guess the fourth thing is helping people, with their problems, So, I'm a gamer at heart. So, I think the way I got into PCs, when I think about it, and the computing side of things, was when going from consoles to PCs, as a kid, so we had, you had like Super Nintendos and these kind of things with joysticks, which, you just plugged in, turned on, and they worked, right? I started doing a bit of programming on an old Commodore 64, if anyone's old enough to remember those things, the old tape drive that you got. So I think I was about 10-year-old when I started actually programming on that, just basic things like changing the colour of the screen and writing like the hello world kind of little commands and things. And then once I started getting into PCs, the difference there was that PCs break, as we know. So I had to learn to fix things. So probably in my early teens, I started kind of fixing things when they broke myself, but also kind of enjoy learning how things work. So taking things apart, once you realize you can take it apart, put it back together. Sometimes I took it apart, put it back together, and it didn't work, and it worked before. So you're going to figure out what you've done. You've maybe broken it, and then it was a bit of a natural thing that it was then like the neighbour knew from speaking to your mum that you were good with computers. So of course, when they had a computer problem, can you go around after dinner and fix the neighbour's computer? And then it kind of starts to grow arms and legs, where suddenly, like, my dad's driving me across town to go and fix his mate's computer, and then people would start giving me money. So people would start going, "Oh, there's 20 quid for fixing it." I was like, I can get paid for this. And it kind of went on like that. I left school, always knew I was going to work in IT, but I ended up taking a couple of years out before I went and actually studied to do my computer networking degree. And then it kind of just went on, after that. So I would say that that's the kind of story that how I got into IT. It wasn't a change of career or anything like that. It was just something that was always there. That's me.
It's quite nice though if you're if people are offering to pay you and you're not quite, that's can be one of the most difficult things about running a business, isn't it? But yeah, getting paid for doing what you love is pretty cool. What is your favourite time of the year and why?
Yeah, this is a tough question because I actually quite like all times of the year for different reasons. So it might have been easier to pick a least favourite, but I'd have to say being a keen biker and cyclist, and I do running as well, I'd probably have to say summer, just because it allows you more time to do those things. I don't mind running. I don't mind running in the cold and the dark, but I'm not going to go out on my motorbike when it's a bit wet and miserable in Scotland. It's a bit too risky. Yeah, I'd have to pick summer, definitely.
And I've been doing so many of these interviews over the last year. I can't actually quite believe that it's been now more than 11 months that we've been working remotely and we've been in some kind of lockdown or restriction. But the question really is, what's that thing that you're missing most while we've got these restrictions?
Question. I think it just has to be freedom, to be able to do what you want and when you want. Feeling like you can't do things because someone else is telling you that you can't do something. I guess it's like, it kind of ties in well with that question. People say, what does success look like? And I always say success to me is being able to do what you want, when you want, as much as you want. So that's also what's missing right now, I guess, for everybody, things. Fortunately, like I said, I am quite a keen gamer, so I'm also more than happy being in the house and doing things. But yeah, the freedom just to kind of out and about, doing a bit of hill walking, going out on your bike, taking the kids to the beach, that kind of stuff is, yeah, I think probably the same for a lot of people, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What's the standout change that's come in your business since the pandemic hit us?
I would say nothing real negatives happened in our business. So, we're in a fortunate position, unlike obviously a lot of businesses that have maybe, started to, struggle throughout the last year. I would say for us, what's changed most is probably being able to focus and develop more in our cyber offering, and what we're doing as a business, which I know a lot of people kind of see on LinkedIn and everything we're doing there. And it's not just new. It's not something that's just happened in the last 12 months. It's something that's been around for the last few years, have continued to evolve what we're doing. But what has really changed on that side in the last year is we've been able to develop and build a software tool that we're bringing to the market to allow, it's aimed at the board C-suite level at businesses, where it allows them to actually manage their cybersecurity, but without having to be technical. So that's really interesting. So given us, I guess, I wouldn't say it's necessarily given us the time, because we've still been busy, but it's just given us the opportunity to do it. Would we have done it had the whole COVID thing not happened? I don't know, maybe not. But I like to think that it probably has pushed us on to kind of continue forward,
Yeah, I think, that certainly ties into my next question, but it's interesting that the pace of innovation, I think that businesses, and we've obviously all gone through a lot of change, but actually, what we've innovated along that kind of way has been pretty phenomenal. And you couldn't probably have planned that innovation in, because your team would have said, really? How much that we've had to adapt and change has been, it's been pretty punishing at times, hasn't it? So what does the future hold then in your business?
Well, we tried planning, look at what we're going to do in the kind of next 5 years, but I think that's been a real challenge for a lot of people. So we said, look, can't possibly do that. It's 5 years is kind of too much right now. So let's just look at 2021 and see what we're going to do there. So that one of our main goals for 2021 was to launch our office down in Birmingham, which has been really interesting. Some people said, so why Birmingham? I said, well, it's just as a demand from clients. We've got clients kind of down between here, down at the Midlands, Manchester, Hull, Lincoln, and these kind of areas, and clients that are expanding themselves, into those areas. Kind of got this, over the last kind of year or two, where we're getting this distance from some clients. So obviously being based in Perth is great. I kind of see Birmingham as kind of like the Perth of England, and that all the motorways flow around through Birmingham, kind of like what Perth's like. So So that's mainly the reason why we kind of chose Birmingham, and getting an engineer down there so that we can kind of, I guess, top and tail where our clients are. So from Perth we can kind of head south, and Birmingham can head north, and then somewhere in the middle. So yeah, continued growth and expansion into Birmingham, and being able to offer businesses in Birmingham another option to work with another IT.
Yeah, brilliant. And my next question is about if you had a lockdown escape bucket list, what would be on the top of it? So when we're nearly, actually, aren't we, at the stage of restrictions being eased, and we're going to get these kind of moves to be able to be out and about more freely. So where are you off to, if you can, when you can?
That's I do like my own bed, so I don't like to travel too much sometimes. But as the kids have kind of grown, we've spent a few summer holidays out in Mull, so we love Isle of Mull. So that's probably where we'll head out to, and get some time out there. It's time away from everything, no internet, no TV. I think it's nice to have a complete digital switch off, so that you kind of shouldn't have to be forced to do things away from that, as a family. But, sometimes when you're put into a situation that does force you, that there is no phone signal, there is no Netflix, there's none of these things. It does, get you to do other things. And kids love exploring, and it's funny, people say that kids are stuck to iPads and things these days. That's just because, for them to do that, it's just there. I think when you take them to an environment where that's just not an option, they totally change. You just go into like little explorers, and they just love going around beaches and rock pools and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's I think where we'll be heading off to. Not too far away, but far enough away that you feel like you're away from home.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received, and why?
That I think a lot of people struggle with this question, because you get a lot of advice. I think it's something I would say something that we talk about internally in our team, which is about maintaining your integrity. I think always maintain your integrity, because I think we always say that once you lose your integrity in business, you kind of lose everything else. People don't, you lose trust. You lose everything after you lose. That's really important one. It's kind of one of our kind of core values that we talk about a lot here at M3. So it's not like a nice fancy quote from somebody, but it's a nice piece of advice that it's something that we always look to kind of gain and protect. So yeah, that's what I would say with.
Yeah, no, I really like that. What about a message from you to the people out there? Have you got something that you've learned yourself about the world of work and business that you would share?
Yeah, I mean, IT industry is unregulated, right? So one thing that we've always said is that we have to hold ourselves to our own standards. Just not accepting that this is the way it is and this is how other businesses in our sector might be, but making sure that we elevate ourselves. So why we do things like ISO 9001, which a lot of IT companies don't go for those kind of certifications. But it's really about, setting our own benchmark for things. So I think, don't just accept what's the norm in your industry. What can you do to kind of make your business better or raise the standard in the industry? And I think I'll just add to that and say, make things fun. Like, who wants to do anything that's boring, right? And especially, I mean, our job's quite high stress. When you're dealing with people's IT, especially in the cybersecurity side of things, it's people's entire careers and livelihoods on the line sometimes. So in those situations, yes, it's definitely not fun, but you have to find other ways to kind of make fun in business. So yeah, find a way to keep it fun as well.
Yeah. Fab. All right. So just kind of finishing us off and making sure people know how to find you. If they wanted to get in touch with you to have a chat, how would they go about doing that?
LinkedIn. I don't think I'm hard to find on LinkedIn. I think I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn. In fact, so many people say, I'm going to turn on LinkedIn in the morning, I always see your face all over the place. So I think that's a good thing. I must be doing
Job
something.
done.
Job done. But apart from that, then people can email me. They want my email address. It's mark.riddell@m3networks.co.uk. And if you want to book a call with me, then just head to our website, m3networks.co.uk, and there's just a button where you can actually book an hour's consultation with me for free, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about, as long as it's IT related, of course.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I've really enjoyed listening to your answers, and you've made me think, should I be asking people what their least favourite time of the year is? But actually, I think I'm an internal optimist, so I'm always going to go with the what's your favourite time. But I've really enjoyed kind of listening and having a chat with you, Mark. There's always something to kind of come out of these chats that make me think, and I've really enjoyed that again today. So. For those of you that are watching this on our YouTube channel, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to all about Mark. And if you've seen it on our social media, you can jump onto the YouTube channel and see all the other Take a Seat interviews that are there. And if you're a member and you want to sign up to something like this, then please just give us a shout. So you can find us at dundee-and-angus-chamber.co.uk, and look forward to seeing you on our social media if you're chatting to us there. So thanks again. I do appreciate the time that you've taken. And Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and be another willing victim. I really enjoy our chat. So thank you.
Oh, it's been good. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate you wearing M3 green today for our chat.
Jeez, didn't do that on purpose, but you're welcome.
Cheers.